Yeah.
All good. Yeah.
Yeah, one more minute. I don't want to leave it too long because there's quite a lot to get through today.
Yeah, no, that wasn't a beer cracking. That was an organic ginger turmeric shot. So, yeah, I'm trying to cleanse myself for a change.
Not a clue what you just said.
What the hell is that beer? What the hell is that drink?
I'll take a photo of it. You can see it's fucking horrible, actually.
Trust me, it's going to take a lot of cleansing.
I'm too far gone, mate. I'm too far gone. Yeah, my missus thought it'd be a good idea to buy some of these drinks with turmeric and ginger in, and when you taste them, you just, it's just not. They're not beer. What can I say? I'm unhappy.
Stick somebody in it.
That's a good idea.
She'll never know because it's inside the can. But I never said that. Oh shit, it's recorded.
The can's tiny though. It's like about the size of my thumb. It's just pointless.
Yeah, I mean, pour it out and just fill it with vodka.
Now you're talking.
Anyway, right, let's get started. We're going to start with the most important thing, the main thing what everyone joins the AMA has been asking constantly in chat. So we're going to start with regards to refunds and everything else. Are we ready for refunds? No, not quite yet. Whereabouts are we? Lucio's probably going to correct me here. Around 75% done. We know how much is real BNB put into the contract. And I had a question earlier on that got tagged into me about the total deposits minus total withdrawn. And why are we doing it so that, say, it's your initial deposit minus the redeposits? And that is simply because there was never, ever 19,000 BNB invested in the Farm of Fortune. There was only ever 6,227 BNB invested in Farm of Fortune. The rest was redeposits. That's how crazy it went. And that leads on to the second part, which is Mischief of Fortune. Everyone's saying, is it any better than Farm of Fortune? Farm of Fortune never, ever, ever got up to $1 million in the pools. Mischief of Fortune is well past that. So when people are asking which is the better project, Mischief of Fortune is by far. It's just because it's only $1 a token and not $400 or $300, whichever it is at that time. It gets missed because it's a silent money printer. 1% a day, yeah, it's 1%. It's 1% less than what Farm of Fortune was. Farm of Fortune got to the point of we couldn't sustain the 2%, which is why we ended it. We said that all along. We could not sustain it. We had to end it before it got to the point where we would have to pay back more than we could ever imagine to people. Because if we'd carried on and there was more new investors that were coming in with 70 to 100 BNB each and every time we invested, now we had to get that 100 BNB back. And we just clearly haven't got it. And we've said that from the start, we haven't got it. And that's why we have to pay back weekly. If we get to the point where we can refund everyone at one straight point, we will. But until that point, we have to pay back weekly. And Farm of Fortune was a beast. It really was a beast. But the biggest part of it was reinvestments. So there was over 73% in reinvestments into Farm of Fortune. Only ever 6,200 BNB of real BNB in the farm. Now that's where we have to go to the next part, and the reason people are saying, why is it taking so long? They're scamming, they're rugging, they're going to do a runner. And let me tell you, when we've gone through the scripts, and there is 4 people on the scripts at the moment. Well, it's not a script. We've had to go through each and every single transaction one by one. Give me 1 second. Let me just sort my little one out. Apologies about that. Little one coming to the bedroom. So where were I? So yeah, so when we was working all out and we went through the scripts, we was working at if for reinvestments and the ROIs. So we found who not ROI, then we had to go for the reinvestments, then we had to go through the wallets to make sure it was either a fresh deposit or reinvestment. That's what's taking the most time. In the first couple of weeks, when we was getting tagged and shouted into chat or shouted into a different chat where we had to defend ourselves, and I think it was pulling us back. We couldn't do what we had to do, and that's why we're saying, please, there is mods, there is other team members, the ones that are doing the calculations need to do the calculations, and especially with me now doing trades, which we'll go into that in a second because there's another help onto Farm of Fortune at the moment. And we're close, we're very close, but we don't know exactly how close. It could be 1, 2, 3 weeks. What you have to watch out for, it may be a midweek AMA that comes up with a midweek. And when you know it's a midweek AMA, you know there's something good going to happen. So we are very close, but how much longer it's going to take, we don't know, because we've then got to go through the 55,000 transactions all over again to go through the investments from, say, TFM or the Mischief of Fortune or MAM or anything. They're classed as fresh investments. What's reinvested into the platform was not fresh investment. It was the house money. It was the platform's money. It was your money originally that you're just recycling back into there. So like a compound. The compounds are not fresh capital. And that's what we was trying to explain to everyone right from the start. And yeah, it looked good when we were getting to 18,000 BNB, 19,000 BNB. But at the point where it was getting very too big to actually sustain, especially when you're getting like 600-700 BNB withdrawn in a day, that is the point where it becomes impossible to keep the 2% a day. And then when the DDoS attack happened, the worst possible time, because I'd already gave my notice into work. I was already training a new member of staff up, so I couldn't retrace my notice. So currently, no income. And if I could, I would have turned back the top clock and retract me notice before I started training anyone up, because we all know we all need an income. Eventually, once we sorted this, I will go into trades and do trades for myself to earn an income. But until then, I've got to do everything for the Farm of Fortune and the whole ecosystem. Yes, we have a whole ecosystem. It's not just about Farm of Fortune. Have we run away? Have we hidden? I have had roughly in a week 10 DMs, and maybe it's someone telling someone where I live. I don't mind. I don't care. I've got nothing to hide. Yes, I live in Doncaster, as many have already DM'd me asking me, are you Craig Heavisides from Doncaster? I've always told you my real name from the start. I've never said any lies. I always said, go and check Facebook, go and check anything you want. You'll see my real name. When I went to blockchain, you saw my real video, real fit face. Can't exactly hide that bit, can I? But nothing to hide. Not going to run anywhere. No reason to run. We've got an ecosystem. We've got one of the biggest ecosystems in the DeFi space at the moment that is still running. Yes, we have slow days. We have really slow days. We have slow weeks. But then weeks after could have really good weeks. It's the same as normal crypto. You can have days when Bitcoin is on a right dump, and then there's other days when it's on a right pump. It's the exact same with DeFi. Everything has stages, and them stages are the things that you have to watch. And miners are the ones you need to watch when them stages come. So as inflation happens in miners is not financial advice, but a better time to DCA than being in at the very top of a miner. Because you're getting more miners, the more the inflation, the more miners you're getting. And then if it has that next pump, you've already got them, you've already DCA'd on an inflation part. So then you're getting more miners, you have more funds coming back to you. Pardon me. And a little example is mine. I started TFM with 2 BNB. And right this minute, I stayed 2 BNB until the inflation started. When the inflation started, I started DCAing. I am now up to 9.8 BNB invested in TFM. That is because I know what TFM is about to do when it comes to the point of we get to the second stage, which is balanced of the inflation. So you have 3 stages within a miner. And a miner, it starts off where the inflation starts and everyone gets into the miner. You start doing your compounds, you start doing your withdrawal and redeposits. And yes, you do get more miners by withdrawing and redepositing. And why is that? Is because when you withdraw, you start an inflation into the miner. When you redeposit, you then remove that little bit of inflation because you've just invested back into the platform. And that is why you do get, it might only be 2 or 3 more miners, but then 2 or 3 more miners are what make a big, big difference. DDoS, we've been accused of doing a self-DDoS. Now, I can tell you, I wish it was a self-DDoS for the amount of money it cost me at my bank account. It was horrendous. I'm still in the doghouse with my missus because there was no choice. I had to pay for it just to get the sites back up online. Why would we do a DDoS attack and have the sites back online for an hour? And then when I'm in bed, the sites go off and it goes to a 403, which is to do with the DDoS and the actual web host, which the web host takes it down for safety reasons. Now, I was asleep. Everyone knows what time I sleep. I'm in the UK. And it was always when I was asleep that the DDoSs was a lot more because it wasn't there to protect the site. But now with Cloudflare, do we still get some attacks? Yeah, on regular occasions, not every day like it was before. But nobody sees them. They get mitigated. And some of them are really hefty attacks. And still, you don't notice a thing. Yes, it is annoying, the capture on the sites, but for safety and for the fact of the sites being up on a constant basis, I think the captures are just a good thing to actually have on there so that you know for a fact you can access the UIs at any point. So they will stay on there. Next on the agenda, so Farmer Fortune. As we know, we're getting close to giving the refunds out. But we knew, everyone knows, we don't have the full amount. So what did I do? You don't know, I'd already started with the NFTs using trading. Well, this week I decided to take free BNB, just free BNB. That was $900 at the time. Well, it was $923 at the time. Currently to today, in this exact minute, we are at $1,527 profit. That's profit in 1 week, just off of the free BNB. Yes, the NFTs are in profit. I'm not going to go into detail with that because we said the end of the month, we don't want people just to buy an NFT just because of the income. It's not about the income or anything like that. It's about what the NFTs stand for. As I say, we've got a full ecosystem and a bigger ecosystem to come yet. We're still at the very start. the miners is DeFi. We've got bigger things to come. You all know we've got bigger things to come, and we've been planning even bigger things. We've got a lot of things on the table, but we don't want to announce all them until we start the refunds, because that'll be a brilliant AMA. That AMA, we'll have to start for about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It might just finish for about 8 o'clock at night. With the amount we've got to announce to everyone, we can't wait to actually get. So when people say just get it done and we can move on, we was wishing we could get it moved on as fast as we possibly can. Like I say, myself and there is another member of staff, well, a member of team, should I say, that did give up work as well, and they are out of money. So if anything, we would have wanted to get BOF launched as soon as possible, just so we actually get an income. So it wasn't the fact that we was trying to delay everything. It was literally the fact that we couldn't go by what June said or what people said, because what their dashboard was showing them. We have to go by the blockchain, and it was literally wallet, by transaction, by looking through them transactions to see if them funds came from another platform to go into that platform. It was horrendous, absolute horrendous, and it still is horrendous, but we're getting there. And it's all thanks to you this week. We have moved major steps this week because we haven't been tagged, we haven't been DM'd. The ones that did DM, I am truly apologize, but it seemed after I blocked you, your account got deleted. So I do apologize if that was Telegram that did delete your Telegram. But I have said, make sure you tag me in chat or even ask a question in chat. We do like to answer questions in chat simply because there may be other members of the community that daren't ask a question. So when they want to ask a question, it's better to answer in the chat. Then the majority of people are getting the answer rather than just one person. And that's why we say ask in chat. And not only that, when you ask in chat, the team are answering you in chat. That way you're not going to get scammed. There's that many scammers going about at the moment. I am in talks with Telegram at the moment to try and get them to change their logging in stance. So when you make an account with Telegram, instead of it just being a telephone number you have to give, it'd be like, I don't know if anyone's got PayPal or anything like that. So when you're making an account, an actual voice comes over and tells you you have to click on a certain number, and it's a different number every single time, just to prove you are human. A robot can't do that. So it's going to add that extra layer of security. Also, I've asked them if there is any way of people copying names, even if it's one higher letter, but there's no way of actually doing that. Because as you know, some of the ones that have copied me have been just an extra E in the name or an extra R or a higher letter R. It's horrible, but we've got to do what we've got to do and try and keep everything in chat. And that's why we say ask the questions in chat. We will be happy to answer in chat. Next on the agenda, I am gonna leave the next part to Z. Is Z about at all?
Yeah, I'm here, correct.
Right, so we're going to let Z talk about the Mischief of Fortune with the state of the pools, and not going into too much detail, but a rough estimate of how much is being in interest just on the fees alone. So I'll leave this bit to Z. Go ahead, mate.
Yeah. Hey guys, I am more in control of the pools right now, while Nelson is absent. If you guys are wondering about the update sheet, first of all, we're always moving our funds from one farm to another or to another website. And so every time we do a new update sheet, then we realize we have another better option for us regarding the pools. And so we move everything back to other protocol. But I'm working with Nelson right now to develop yet another update sheet. We're trying to make more user friendly. Right now, all the money from the MOF pools are on PancakeSwap. So most of you already know that the V3 of PancakeSwap has already launched. And since we moved to V3, they did a couple of twists. You can actually see a video of Crypto Mischief, where he explains in detail what's going on with the new V3. And so basically we have our money spread to several pools and farms. We have the cake pool, we have some farms like USDT BNB, USDT cake, and BNB BUSD. Okay. These farms, I mean, this V3 works a bit different. So when you do an LP before going into the farm, it's not like that classic 50-50 where imagine if you put 300 BUSD, you would have to put one BNB on the other side. Now this one is a bit different because you have to set up a price range. And so it balances the amount of token on each side according to the price range that you get. So what it means is, if you example, I have a LP of BNB and BUSD. I'm going to define a price range between, for example, $312 and $315. That means if BNB price is within this range, we will get a certain APR. And the tighter the range is, the more APR you will earn. Okay, so we could just put like a wide range of, for example, 300 BNB up to 320 BNB, but our APRs will be really low. And what does that mean? That means that right now, both me and Nelson, we are constantly monitoring PancakeSwap, all the money in the pools, because we want our price range to be as tight as possible. Because sometimes you can get, for example, 800% APR, 1000% APR. Sometimes it goes down to 200% APR. So it's very dynamic, and it's a lot of work, but it pays off, because right now we are producing both in fees, but in the cake as well. We are doing more or less like 4,000 per day, 4K, and we are constantly compounding at least 3-4 times a day. We are compounding this the rewards into the LPs. And we are always making sure that this price range is really tight, so we can work on a high APR. If the price goes out of the range, the LP becomes inactive. Okay, and when it becomes inactive, we stop earning rewards, both in fees and in cake as well, in the farms. So that's why we need to constantly monitor that. I am while I am awake, I am with PancakeSwap open all day, always watching the price range. And when we go to sleep, we widen the price range a little bit so that the LP can remain active throughout the night. Okay. So far, it's been working really good, and we hope to keep the pace going. The deposits on MOF has slowed down a little bit, but I'm sure they will pick back up. And when they do, we can work even better with the pools. We are already working really well, even without that many deposits on the past couple of days. So if we all follow the 50-50, and by the way that the PancakeSwap is doing, I mean, this system of the V3, we could really boost our pools, and we can have a long life on MOF. So the redeposits are obviously very important, and we just need to keep it up. If we keep it up, we can do a good snowball effect on these pools. But yeah, we will try to put it on a new Excel sheet just for the PancakeSwap V3. That's where the money is all at. Okay, and yeah, we just keep on working and grow the pools more and more each and every day. I don't know if Craig wants to add something regarding PancakeSwap. If I covered everything, I guess I did.
Yeah, perfectly. So as you can see, and that's from the person running the pools, and it's different person from me. I was doing Farmer Fortune pools, yes, but the Mischief of Fortune pools are something bigger than what Farmer Fortune pools ever was. So yeah, and this new V3 is absolutely amazing. We still have the pools, and they are generating fees and also farming the cake in the farm pools, just sitting there while we get the full disclosure of the numbers. So yeah, there's no actual date as of yet. We're just saying, watch out midweek AMA. That's all we're saying. We do appreciate everyone giving us that time this week to actually get stuff done. That is the biggest part. We needed that time, and when we keep getting pulled away, that is what makes us delayed. Because, like I say, it's the transactions. I don't know. I know there's a few people that do blockchain reading in the chat just right now. I'm seeing names. So you know, just by reading the blockchain, and then you have to follow everything through on that blockchain to go to the next transaction, and then follow it through to the wallet to see what happens straight after. So you can understand, just by doing it on one wallet is hard enough. And when you've got 2,000 wallets to do, it's a lot more harder. So yeah. Yeah, so if we keep doing the 50-50 strategy, if you scroll up in the pinned messages, about 4 pinned messages up, I will do it a little bit better. That is a little bit like childish writing, how I did it. It was just someone asked me to do a calculation on ROI for Mischief of Fortune if they did the 50-50. And as you see in the pinned, once you get to day 150, if you do the 50-50 strategy and you invest $1,000 US, one USDC, 1,000 USDC, sorry to search. I will get my words out in a second. 1,000 USDC invested into Mischief of Fortune. After 150 days, you will have 2,016 USDC in the pool, generating the 1% daily. But you'll also have pocketed 1,016 USDC in your pocket. That is the ROI. You've already made your ROI. The rest is house money, and you're earning a profit on a daily basis. So the 50-50 strategy does work. Yes, it's going to take 50 days extra to ROI, but that 50 days, you've already ROI'd, plus you've doubled your initial ROI, what you put in there. So the 50-50 and the reinvestments do work a lot better than any compound would ever do. And that's why we say we advise, but it's not financial advice to do the withdraw and redeposit. The same with Cake Fortune, Elk Fortune, the Farmer Fortune, not the Farmer Fortune, the Mischief of Fortune, the MAM, and the Fortune Miner. They all work the same way. You withdraw, redeposit if you've got enough to do that. We know there's some people that do not have enough to redeposit, but there's nothing stopping you from keeping it in your wallet, holding it, make your next withdrawal or even the withdrawal after, but make sure you put 50% in your pocket and make sure there's 50% to redeposit back in. In that given time that you've got it holding in your wallet, inflation's happened. So you're getting the miners at a lower price. So you're actually getting a better position than the people that have been withdrawing in between you. So it does work, and it does work for just holding, and you can do it on Cake Fortune. Yes, you can withdraw 3 or 4 times a day to redeposit 50% if you want to. Works the exact same way as 24 hours or 48 hours. Except for Cake of Fortune, remember, does not have any timer, so it does not have any cut-off points. So you could leave it a week, really, but would not be advising. That is financial advice. Do not leave for a week, because you may see after 2 days you might have say 10 cake in your wallet, but then after a week you've only got 11 cake, and you're wondering, well, why is this? Now, if people withdraw before you're withdrawing, your actual income drops, and that's why a variable miner is different. And what variable miner means, your percentage differs. It can go up, it can go down, the same as your rewards. Until you click claim, those rewards will change with a variable percentage. I think, yeah, that's the pinned message from Queeker. My words are just nothing now. If you want to do the 50, 25, 25, that's exactly the same, except for it's like, I think it's 175 days, but you're still within the 200 days. So you'll still have plans after your 200-day plan has ended in Mischief of Fortune. And you'll still be going for another 175 days on top of that, because you've been doing the 25, 25, should I say. But you always pocket 50%. It's all about making sure you take profits while helping the projects continue forward. Now, the one thing I want to go over is we did the
just something, Craig.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, regarding the TFM, I know many people are still asking about the rewards. They are going down, but I mean, at this stage, the rewards are going down for everyone. This is the stage of the miner where I explained on my video. This is the stage where the TVL is going down after that initial pump. And when it's going down at a higher pace, like right now, we should sort of forget about ROI and start thinking of building our position and buying more miners. I've said to a couple of people, the TFM for me hasn't started yet. TFM for me will start when the TVL is gonna eventually reach sort of a floor, and with the inflation settling in and with the injections growing bigger, that's when TFM is really going to start. Right now, we just have to focus in building our position. Of course, we can take a little bit for ourselves, but make sure you redeposit too. And you've seen in the other miners, there's the down curve after the beginning. It might stabilize a little bit on the bottom, and then there will come a time that the TVL will pick back up. And for those of you that are prepared, the ones that did the reinvestment, the keeping their miners going up, when the TVL starts to go up, that's when they will be compensated regarding that. So think of right now the TFM to build your position. It might still go down a little bit. I don't know for how long, but it will stabilize for sure. You've seen on the other miners, and TFM will start for real pretty soon.
And I like miners more than farms. No worries, Z. Yeah, I like miners more than farms, but the simple reason is a miner, especially with a miner with outside revenue like Cake Fortune, Elk Fortune, they're at the point that they'll never end because the amount that is earning each and every single day. Remember, there's nothing getting withdrawn from the pools. It's only the interest that is going back into the contracts. So when everything else is finishing off or ending naturally, or we start a new project, the miners will continue, and eventually TFM will get to that point like Elk of Fortune and Cake of Fortune. They did take some time. I think it took like 7 months for Cake of Fortune and 6 months for Elk of Fortune. And that's really because Elk of Fortune never had a really big kickoff to start off with. It was a low price token. People didn't know what Elk token was all about. We tried doing videos at the same time to make people understand what Elk finance is all about. We tried going for the partnership, and I tried going back for the partnership the other day, explaining that we did keep our promise. Elk of Fortune still going to this day. We're like 8, 9, 10 months at the time it was. 10 months into the project, and it's still going strong. Just like 100,000 elk at the time. It's now 120 odd thousand. But they just basically turn their noses up, and we continue forward. We don't mind. They're not big on miners anyway. They class miners as something that's going to harm their token price, and it's not, because the way it's designed in the miner is people are taking their return of investment and then putting 50% back into the platform, and then they may keep that token because they may want to bridge over to Polygon or to AVAX or to any other network. I think they actually started the ARB network just lately. Yes, when you compound, you are automatically buying miners. And that's for every miner. You automatically buy them, but the lower price, the higher price, sorry. But if you're withdrawn and reinvested, I know TFM is different because you have one forced compound. The reason we did that in the way it was is because of the price of BNB. If we allowed everyone to withdraw every single day, the miner wouldn't last. And we told you that from the start. If we didn't have that 1 day of compound, we put 1 day forced compound in there for a reason, and that was to steady the withdrawal rate, because we needed time for the pools to grow. And within that month of the pools growing, there was that many people withdrawing. The inflation started a lot faster than it should have done, but it's steadied down. It is really steadied down. I think there's only been like, 20 BNB this week withdrawn in total out of TFM, which is not massive compared to what it would have been of a balance of 1,000 BNB. Well, it's 700 BNB now. But it would have been 1,000 BNB with all the 35% on top. So the pools are growing with 35% going into the pools. There is still the percentage going to the pools for Farm of Fortune. Yes, that will still happen until everyone is withdrawn and fully ROI'd within the ones that are getting ROI'd. And that is the same with Mischief of Fortune. When that happens, we will have a wallet that funds what would normally go to Farm of Fortune will go into a separate pool. That pool will then help any project. It doesn't matter which project it is, it will be any project, whether it is MAM, whether it is any of the Fortune Hunters ecosystems or any other partners we decide to take between now and then. And that's the way we're going to do it. We're going to do it so we're going to have the pools that are direct with the platforms, and then we're going to have the extra pool, which will be to give a boost. So like TFM, if it needs a little boost, we can put a bit into TFM. If Mischief of Fortune needs a bit of a boost, we could put a bit into Mischief of Fortune. And it doesn't matter which pool it goes into, that one pool will be designed to help whichever platform needs it the most. And that's where we're going from now moving forward. We still have the treasury, so that's still building funds. The funds that's being generated there is helping Farm of Fortune as well. So the interest from the farm is going to the Farm of Fortune pools. So we've got many things that are helping to try and boost to get back everyone's ROI. But please, we did this with Farm of Fortune, but we noticed there's been FUD constantly in different groups, not in here. We took control in here. We can't take control in every other group. We just literally do not have the time to go around every single group trying to defend ourselves. This is where we need you as the investors, the ones that are already invested in there, that need to start listening to yourselves, not other people. Listen to your own heart, listen to your own views. Forget what other people think. That's outside noise. Yes, I'm a lot more confident now. Farm of Fortune hit every single member of the team fast and hard. We didn't expect it that fast. But now we're back on top. We're back with a bang. We're back with a vision. We've got the vision. We all know the vision. We're going to push forward with the vision. You as community are the ones that can help. Work with the platform. The platform will work for you. But we will not guarantee Mischief of Fortune an ROI like we did with Farm of Fortune, because FUD in the end hurt Farmer Fortune. Otherwise, we'd still be going today. And with the current rate of version 3 in PancakeSwap, let me tell you, we would have had no trouble with Farmer Fortune. But please, there will be no version 2. We will not ever bring out a version 2 of anything. Version 2s fail instantly. Version 1 failed, so you're going to join version 2 to make a quick ROI and get out of the platform. I know, I've done it before in other platforms. Version 2s never ever work because version 1 never works, so why would version 2? And that's why we say we will not ever bring out a version 2. We'll bring out a different project, but we'll never ever do a version 2. So that is definitely off of the cards for now and foreseeable future. We've got a massive ecosystem in the making. And once we start these refunds, you're going to see what we've got planned. And you'll see the announcements we've got to make at that point. Yeah, I'll let you do that one now. Just give me a minute. So yeah, I'm going to let Al speak about the BOF, if he wants to, that is.
Well, I mean, all I can say is like it's going ahead. But as Craig said, we've got to get our priorities right. It's all very well us kind of like, everything's good when, deposits are coming in and everything's good, but it's at times when things are hard is when your character shows. And, we've said that we're going to do the ROI. So that's like literally the one thing that's stopping us from getting cracking with BOF. And as far as sort of Bakery of Fortune, I say BOF all the time. I mean, as far as I can tell, I haven't seen a project like the way the Bakery of Fortune is going to be. I don't think I've seen it. I'm racking my brains to see if I just don't think I've seen anything like the way it's going to be. That is to say, a fixed percentage on a B&B cake LP. I don't know. Maybe there is such a thing, but I certainly haven't seen it. I'm super excited about it. But we're going to be making sure that, we are going to make it as sustainable as we can. So it's going to be probably along the same lines, more the same lines as MOF. As far as turnaround times, we're probably looking at sort of 15 days or something like that. Because as Craig stated and everyone stated, the 5 days on the Farm of Fortune was just like, they were working like slaves to kind of make sure the sort of the money was turned around. So I think it's going to be a lot more sustainable to have like that. So yeah, that's all going ahead. But it would not be right, and it would not be in keeping with our, what's the word? I guess our moral compass, our standards. To be able to, just start launching other products when there's other people that are like, I'm waiting for my ROI here. So please just be patient. It will happen, but we have to get, we have to make good on what we've said first. And it's killing all of us. Like we all want to sort of like get the hype train rolling, and videos done, and all the good stuff, all the fun stuff, the hype, the excitement that comes with a launch, and it will happen, but we've just got to get our ducks in a row. We've got to get our ducks in a row. And with this is like, when it comes to this time of the year, you've got to do your taxes. You've got to pay up and do the boring stuff kind of thing, but so there might be a little less kind of like, I suppose, excitement in the group, but it's because we treat a whale the same way that we treat a smaller person. And, it's really, really important. I hope that's getting across that we treat everyone the same, and we want to make sure that those people are made good before we can sort of move on to the BOF. And I just can't wait for it. So I sound like a broken record in in the team chat, like oh, we're there yet, and they're like, shut up, but yeah, it's going to happen. Just be patient. Don't trust us. Judge us by our actions. Okay, and we're not telling you to trust us. Why would you trust us? Like, just judge us by our actions, our previous actions, our current actions, and the actions that we're going to make in the future. And then you can make up your own mind. And the other thing I'd say is, crypto's risky. DeFi is the riskiest of them all. So for God's sake, don't be like taking loans out and invest. Just please don't do that. Nobody is telling you to do that. So just be careful. DeFi is high risk stuff. So please don't look at it like don't be a moon boy. Just look at it as like a passive income. So be reasonable about it. Get your ROI at the same time as you build your bags. 50-50 is just like, it's such a good thing to do. So anyway, that's probably all the waffle I have for you.
Cheers, Al. So yeah, as Al said there, high risk in DeFi, but not just high risk in DeFi. How many of you have ever used Sushi Swap? And look what happened with that one yesterday. It's not just DeFi, not just the high risk. The lower risks do have risks as well. You've got to be prepared. Please add. If you've got Rabbi, it's brilliant because you can unwreck everything at once. You don't even have to change networks. It's brilliant. You can use there on. It got hacked. If you've ever used it, make sure you revoke everything. Unwreck. You can go on unwreck.net, or if you've got Rabbi, you can do it directly through the wallet. I think SafePal do it as well.
Can I just say one thing on that? Based on what I've read, it looks like it was only the last 4 or 5 days of transactions that were exposed to the hack or export or whatever it was. However, and I haven't used it in months. However, I did the unwrecking as Craig suggests. And just to back up what Craig is saying, to do it in Rabbi is so freaking easy. It's just like literally approvals, go to that, bang, and it's done in a second. So yeah, sorry I interrupted you, mate.
No worries at all. Yeah, so Jedi, if you go onto Rabbi and you click it open, you've got a little button at the bottom and it says approvals. Just click on that. You can unwrap everything. It's the most easiest one I've found so far. I haven't tried SafePals yet, but I'm pretty sure someone mentioned it yesterday. You can do it on SafePal. J Diamond, just curious, if Farmer Fortune didn't have DDoS attack, would it have run into the funds issue later on due to the 2%? Yes, that is guaranteed. It would have got to the point of it would have been virtually impossible at that point. It was just the DDoS brought it a lot, like literally instantly sooner. But we just literally, if we'd have injected anything after that point, it was getting withdrawn. We tried it. We waited until all the sites were back up. Everyone was saying, yeah, we'll do the 50-50. I injected 140 BNB, and within the space of 6 hours, that 140 BNB was gone. And we decided at that point it would have been devastation for us to carry on and just keep injecting. Because we couldn't have paid everyone to their ROI or even considered it at that point. So that's why we say, yeah, it would have. The 2% is literally, if we had the 15 days, it is possible, but it was 5 days. There was no way of making it back in 5 days. We had the MetaMask issue the first time, and that pulled us right down in the value of the pools. You saw the pools drain on that point, and you're all asking, is it an issue? I said at that point, there's kind of an issue, but we'll see how things go. And we all pulled together as a community, and we made it back. We made it back to 2% a day when DDoS attack, and a second time hit was just way too much. and y'all know, speak the honest truth, it was way too much. There was no way of return at that point. Even with everyone saying we'll put 100% back in, it would have been literally months to get back to the point we was at. And that's why we had to do it that way. So welcome, Richie. Good to see you. So yeah, we've got that. BOF is going to be totally different. There will be no referrals. Oh, that one thing I needed to mention. So you're wondering about the Farm of Fortune. Another thing we have to do, and I'm going to ask actually all of your opinions to see if we were right in our decision on this one person. We had one person that had 221 referrals and earned 93 BNB, but was waiting for 0.1 BNB ROI. Do you think they should get the 0.1 BNB ROI? They've never withdrawn, only took the referrals. And that is why it is taking so long. It's not that we're delaying it. It is really, really hard. And we have to make these decisions and see where we did the fresh testing of the referrals, but we didn't expect 93 BNB for one person to be withdrawn. It was a big, big shock, especially when they'd only put in 0.1 BNB. So that's why we've said BOF will be a 0% referral. We do understand we're going to lose a lot of YouTubers, but we are partners. We are partners. There's myself. I will be getting back into YouTube. We've got Richie, who's in the chat. We'll be doing YouTube. And whoever follows will follow. The real YouTubers will follow, whether it's a referral or not a referral. The ones that follow, that promote because it's a non-referral, are the ones that are not after just your money. We have lost a lot of YouTubers. A lot have turned their back on us. Excuse me. I still do have a little cough. It's just dry afterwards. Yeah, so the real ones have stayed with us. There's one here, Crypto Phil. He's still been doing videos explaining the updates on Farm of Fortune and everything else within the ecosystem. So we still do have the genuine YouTubers that will just do a video willy-nilly, and they're the ones that are going to be eventually we will look after them, because nobody's ever took a payment for a video, and that's the one thing we can say. They have done videos and never took a payment. But yeah, I don't know if anyone else from the team has got anything to say. I think I've got something else to say, but I can't remember what it was. Yeah, you know, you should have heard me last week. Oh, it was horrible. Them voice chats where it was just croaky voice. That was nothing compared to when I started a coughing fit. It was like literally I couldn't even take a breath. But I'm getting better. Babby's getting better as well, because my Babby were in hospital at the same time. So it was a big time for me as well. Yeah, it's not COVID. It's this new virus that's going around. They're not mentioning nothing about it. It's going to be awful to say, but you get craps, you get like a sicky feeling, you get aches and pains, a little similar to COVID, but it's not COVID. It gets in your chest and it's like fluid that's stuck, and you can't cough no matter how much you try and cough. That you know, when you get that phlegm and you just want to get it up, and then you know you're all right, it just won't come up no matter what you do. You try them, the humidifier thingies that you put in vapes into your face, it just nothing works. It's horrible, absolute horrible. The Babby was really bad. We ended up in hospital on an nebulizer and steroids, and first time I've ever heard anybody have to take 10 puffs of inhaler every 4 hours, but my Babby does have to have that just to get herself better. But yeah, we're getting there. But Fortune Hunters is still on the road to financial freedom, but it is a slow, steady road. It is not. This is not a ecosystem for you if you just want to get rich tomorrow. TFM, if you think you're going to get rich tomorrow just because it's BNB, it's not going to happen. It is long term. Look at Cake of Fortune. We're nearly, like literally 3 weeks away from being 1 year old. I am going to open up to questions now. I did say it would be a little bit longer than an hour. So I'm going to let Nick speak. 1 second. You're allowed to speak, mate.
Hey, Craig. Glad you're feeling better, man.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Quick question for you. I know you had put a post up that was pinned saying, you know, you can go to sleep at night knowing that our money is safe. And I know DeFi is risky. I know there was no guarantees either for Farm of Fortune, but you guys really went ahead and did the noble thing to make sure that everybody has a chance to be whole. But you just mentioned something about 20 minutes ago, or like 15 minutes ago, where there's like no guarantees on the Mischief of Fortune for ROI. I don't think anybody's asking for guarantee, but it just intrigued me when you said that comment, because I'm just thinking, if MOF is a lot more easier to sustain with the 1%, if, and you know, despite being hacked or anything crazy like that, if you started to see something along the lines of mass withdrawals versus deposits or something like the scales are being tilted, would you still go about trying to do the same thing to make sure people got the ROI, or how would you go about it?
We'd let everyone know that there is mass withdrawals, which is what we did on the Farm Fortune just before we stopped it. And we said, look, we need the help to go back in and do the 50-50, or we're going to have to end it. And it ended up ending it. So it was open and honest with everyone. Mischief of Fortune, the update sheet will be a lot more user-friendly. You'll see the injections going in. You'll see if it's an injection that has been withdrawn from PancakeSwap, or if it's an injection just from the interest from the fees. And I don't know if he actually went through it over the fees of how much it's saying in a day, actually, but I think he's keeping that secret until the form comes out. But yeah, it's a lot anyway. But the injections at this present time are covered by just the interest alone from fees and farming. So yeah, we did have an injection, and then it did have a withdrawal straight after, but it's nothing to be concerned with. The reason I said that 20 minutes ago is because we've had this week, I'd say 3 people ask if we are going to do the same with Mischief of Fortune as we did with Farm of Fortune. Will we guarantee 100% ROI? And we'd have normally said yeah, like we did with Farm of Fortune. But knowing what we've seen in other people's groups and what FUD can actually do, it's now down to you as the investors to choose to either listen to them and do your withdrawals and let the project die off, or continue in and listen to what we're saying to you and listen to the AMAs and make your own choices, not listening to other people. You can make your own choices. Everyone is typing in update. You can see from the update sheets, I think it's only the injections that haven't been updated on there, but everything else is still right. The pools are right, the amount that's in the pools. So there's nothing wrong in the update sheet. It's just there's going to be another user friendly, so it's just everything's there and you can see what you need to see, not like, oh, but this is in that pool, that's in that pool, that's in that pool. You just want to see basically the balance, how much is coming out of that balance to go back into the contract, how much it's earning each and every single day. So that's the main reason why that was said with Mischief of Fortune. Like we said, we'd normally do that, but if we said that now and then the FUD continued in other groups and everyone decided that they wanted to withdraw, and that's technically not our fault, because everyone's listening to these other groups that are allowing this to be said in their other groups, that we're supposedly running away with everyone's money. And I can't hide. Well, I can't hide anyway, because anyone in the UK knows it is impossible to hide. You open a bank account, you get put on a database that is open to everyone to see where you live. So that's why when people were DMing me saying, oh, you're Craig Eversides from Doncaster, I'm like, well, yeah, it's not hard to find out. I've always been open and honest. But yeah.
So Craig, I can talk.
Yeah, go ahead.
For a second. So this week I was in another channel, and there was one guy who was accusing us of doing self DDoS and like, oh, that's really convenient that it happened at that time, all this kind of stuff. And he was saying, oh, you know, you need to stop making these Ponzi's. I'm like, okay, right. And then he said, haha, I was in FOF, and I am in MOF, and I'll keep taking my 30% a month, thank you very much. So on the one hand, he's telling us that these are all Ponzi's and you need to come clean and all this kind of bullshit. But at the same time, he's saying, basically, excuse my French, but F you, you know, I'm just going to drain out. So there are always going to be bad actors, right? There are always going to be bad actors. All we can do as a community is say, if we all club together and work this protocol the way that we're suggesting, 50-50, some of the other strategies, yeah, this is how we make this super highly rewarding project last as long as possible. There aren't any freaking guarantees in life. Look at banks. Banks are falling over, you know, left, right, and centre. Okay, we want to protect you as much as possible, but this is the highest of high risk. And you know, like, oh well, wait a minute. This guy was saying, oh, we need to stop doing that. But by the same token, he's like, yeah, I'm invested and I'm going to just drain. So he's a drainer, right? So he's a drainer. Okay, fine. He's going to drain. And once he's drained, then that's him gone. But, you know, the idea is there are still Ponzinomics involved. We were working very hard towards making things, and we're doing what we can to make the projects super attractive, super rewarding, and as minimizing the Ponzinomics as much as possible. With the miners, it's much easier. With the ROI, it's more difficult. But we were working towards that. We are working towards that. That's always going to be an aim and a goal that we have. You know, but we have to remember that there aren't any guarantees in life. You know, that we hope to educate and take care of the community as much as possible. But like, we're all grown-ups here, right? So, you know, just like, don't invest more than you're willing to lose, right? Just don't do it. It's just not worth it, you know. And there are always going to be a few bad apples, but by far the majority of people, you know, we're doing the right thing. So it is high risk, you know, but there are, you know, it's that old thing, isn't it? You know, high risk, high rewards, you know. So we're trying to dampen and make the risks as small as we possibly can. Can we make it so there's zero risk? Of course we can't. Of course we can't, you know, but we're going to do everything that we can to educate you, give you the latest information. We're not freaking hiding anything. The guy was saying, oh, the spreadsheets were, you know, like never, they weren't accurate or something like that. Like sometimes they might be a day that they're like 12 hours or 24 hours or something where it needs an update because there's been funds moved around or whatever. As you heard from Z, you know, you know, Z, Nelson and Craig, when they're working with pools, they're like, it's the information in the spreadsheet is going to be right until it's not right. And what that means is, hang on, I've just got to let the dog out. She's moaning. Sorry. Oh, that was another thing. The guy said, oh, it's really unprofessional. You can hear kids in the background and dogs. And, you know, it's like, well, guess what? We've got lives, you know. We don't work in, you know, like some sort of like gilded towers. But so you know, as far as the spreadsheets go, they could be 12 hours out of date. They might even be 24 hours out of date because funds might have, the APRs might have moved, the funds might have moved from one pool to another. But we are absolutely, and you know, people can say what they like, but we are all as a team absolutely dedicated to transparency. We're dedicated to security. We're dedicated to making our projects as minimizing the Ponzinomics as much as we can. You know, if we'd have got it to 200 days, you know, sadly we didn't, then we could have said that everyone that started on day one you know, that would have been a Ponzi-free system. Okay, these are still our aims. We are on a daily basis looking to change and improve DeFi, but we can only do it with the help of the community. And that's not, you know, whenever you say that they're community-driven projects, fudders will always say, "Oh, that's it. So you're blaming the community?" No, we're not. But the whole thing about DeFi is that it's decentralized. It's putting power in your hands. If you choose to trust us based on the actions that we've taken, go you, like, do it. But like, that's, if you want 0.01% from a bank, you know, that hopefully won't, you know, like, have a problem, then do that. But it's all about personal choice. And so, yeah, just to reiterate, we're doing everything we can. We're being as transparent. We're being fully transparent. You know, security would take massively important, but there are still risks. So we all have to sort of put our big boy pants on, or in my case, my big girl knickers on, and or my mankini. Apparently, people want to see me in the mankini. It's fucking weird, but anyway, we all have to sort of like man up, lady up, whatever it is up, and take responsibility for our own risks. Anyway, I'm done.
I got you, man. I guess my like last 2 cents is, I know Craig had mentioned like there's no losers with fortune hunters and stuff like that. I also understand the flood that happened with this whole breakdown to DDoS attack. But here's the thing: in DeFi, everybody has to be accountable for their own actions, but it's also very, very rare to find a team like you guys when you're working your asses off trying to provide full transparency. I don't think the sheet, people only start focusing on the sheet, like really, really focusing, laser focus when things are wrong, right? So I'm just saying, I think if you guys are 75% done of looking into all the transactions, and in a few weeks the refunds start coming back, because you guys have never bullshitted. You're not making up fake timelines. You're not saying we're going to have it tomorrow and then it's a month later. Like, you're doing it the right way. So when it does happen, I think the fudders will stop, and everybody's going to know that you guys are for real, because you don't really know what's what until shit hits the fan and how you guys are handling it to make everyone whole again. But I will say this as a final thought, like, for what you're doing on FOF, I think that's unbelievable and absolutely huge for trying to make people get their money back that didn't ROI. And I do hope, you know, even though it's a community-driven project, and when whatever trust that was fractured is restored after these refunds, that if anything were to go down for MOF or any other part of the ecosystem, that hopefully there's another, hey, like, this is what's going on, like, we either do this or we do that. If not, it's okay. I know it's all our money and we're gambling anyway, but I do feel like you guys are one of the safest places to put the bets on. And I'm really excited to see where this goes. So I'm happy to be here, keep working hard, and I'm looking forward to not losing with you guys. Thank you.
Cheers, Nick. Yeah, so basically with Fortune Hunters, we've got a massive, massive roadmap marked ahead. So we're not going to want anything to go down in a bad way whatsoever. And that's why we'd always do whatever's best for the community, because you are the ones that have put your faith in us. So why shouldn't we be the ones that are putting our faith back into yous and helping yous along the way? And we've done that from day one. That's why I told you how if you withdraw and then redeposit, you get more minus for your money. You're going to get more money back in the long run. Otherwise, would I have just said, well, just compound to oblivion? We're going to get dev fees while you're compounding, but keep doing it. You're losing out in the long run. We're not like that. We're not like that one bit. What else were I going to say? There was a question, will there be an insurance pool for MOF? As explained earlier on, at the moment, there's MOF that is putting 1% into Farm Fortune, well, 0.5% into Farm Fortune, and 0.5% goes into the MAM Forever pools. The 0.5% that goes into Farm Fortune, once everyone has received their ROI, will be going into the separate pool, which is what we went on about earlier on. And that pool will be to help any project, whichever it is, no matter whether it's ours, Richie's, or any other partners we take on, will help them out. It'll be to help anything. So it'll not be an insurance pool for one specific thing. It'll be an ecosystem insurance pool. Not so much an insurance pool, because it's whatever will be in that pool will help the platform. If it's not there, we can physically help it. We put a hell of a lot of money out of our own pockets into the ecosystem that many probably wouldn't have done. But yeah, second on the last thing I'm going to go over tonight is, and then I'm going to end the AMA so everyone can get on and do what they need to do, is if you are in another group, like Darkside just mentioned there earlier on, there is people in this group and they're in the chat right now, listening to the chat. If we as a team do see the stuff what could cause harm to a person in another group by making out that we are running away with people's money, so crypto is a very dangerous place. I don't know if anyone read the news a while ago. It was actually somebody that did run away with the money, but I would never wish it upon anyone. They actually got kidnapped and tortured. It's only like real life. You steal up someone in real life, they're going to probably break your legs. And that's why we would never ever dream of ripping anybody off. We've been through that point of being ripped off. We've been through that point of being in a rug. And that's why Fortune Hunters was made. So why would we make something to break something that is so powerful in the whole of DeFi? We changed so many people's lives. Not only that, we're changing people's visions and their own visions, because the only thing this DDoS attack did was stop people investing in other projects in DeFi as well. So whoever did this DDoS attack maybe probably did it to help their project. I don't know. We don't know who it is. I'm not even going to go into try and find out who it is. There's like a million, a trillion, godzillion, or whatever it is, chances to try and find them. It is virtually impossible. But they never did anything except for harm themselves as well as everyone else, especially if they had their own project, because nobody wants to invest in anywhere, because what people thought was the safest bet actually was hit hard than anything else and turned out to be the hardest bet because it had to end so soon. And we're still here. We're still going to plod along, and we're going to get back to that point. And I know it's going to take time, and you need to see this in real life. And that's what you're waiting for, these refunds to start. And that's what we're waiting for. We want to get these refunds starting as well. But if we see any sort of, what should we say, wording in other groups like that, we will remove from this group as well. And the only way to find out any information will be from a YouTuber that is covering every single thing. I have never ever been a person to ban or kick anyone out. I kicked my first person out and it upset me a while ago, and it was actually in Crypto Phil's group, and I was upset by myself because I've never kicked anyone out of a group. Even my own group, I've given warnings, and it's normally the admin that end up kicking them out because I'm not that like tough-minded. And it turned out he would call me a scammer, and I should go and F my mother and all this lot. And I was like, well, now I'm glad I actually kicked you out, and I was glad I actually did it for a reason, and that reason actually was correct. But now I have to be that little bit stronger and have to put my foot down every now and again, because 99% of this group do join the AMAs. They follow every single, when they can't make the AMAs because they're asleep or anything else, and they'll come back into the group the next day and they'll say, is there an update? Is there a type out of the AMA? And they'll read through it. They'll take the time and read through it. But then you get the ones that are not interested, that just want to come in and cause uproar. This group never, ever, ever had any FUD, any dishonesty or anything before Farmer Fortune ended. And when Farmer Fortune ended, we had people joining left, right, and center and causing a rate commotion. And it starts it within the whole group. And we need to get back to that point of being the most amazing group again. We still are the most amazing group, but we can get back to that point of making sure that we all stick together. We pull together, we pull through. We have a full ecosystem plus partners. We're going to build this ecosystem well, both ecosystems. You got Rich's NFT mint, which is coming out on, Richie, remind me, 17th, is it? Oh, I think he's gone. There's a mint of the NFTs on the 17th. You got Aurea, Wolf Capital doing absolutely amazing. Seen one of the trades last night, 18,000 profit in one trade alone. Massive congrats, mate. So yeah, when people are asking for Wolf Capital, yes, I will allow it. We have promoted, so we'll allow talking of Wolf Capital. Any other project that is not promoted by us will not be tolerated in the group. We have to be strict. We've got to be strict. We've got to be that point now. And thanks everyone for joining. We will have more updates very shortly. Please stay with us and just know that we are getting there. I will post more details of Rich's, because there is a Twitter raid and you can win yourself one of $300 US. I think that's still going on. So I will post that post as well. Thanks everyone for joining. I will see you next week in the AMA, unless
just had something correct. Just before I go, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Just before I go as well, because I need to shut off, I'd like to thank everyone that attended the AMA since the start. I know many of you came because of the refunds probably, and we talked about it in the beginning, but we had a good attendance all the way through the AMA, so thank you very much, guys. We were also talking about security in the middle of the AMA, about the revokes and stuff. And security should be the #1 priority for every single investor. And we are, as of right now, we're just finishing a document where we explain a couple of good security practices in regards to Telegram, to revokes, to hardware wallets. I mean, we're covering a bit of everything there. And when we have it ready, we will put it on the website and for you guys to take a look. It will be very interesting, not only for the new users, but also people that have been around for a while. So keep safe, make sure you have your security in order, and we'll give more updates when we have more information about the document. All right, take care, guys. Cheers, Greg.
Thank you, Z. Yeah, I forgot you mentioned we were going to go over that. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining. I will see you next week in the AMA. Going to get this off so everyone, for ones that are going to listen to it afterwards, they're not having too long to listen to. Take care, everyone. Happy hunting. Fortune hunters forever. Take care. Good night.